Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Mikey Wine here, aka Gundam Works, and we are live once again. This is part 4 of the Core Fighter Basic construction. Really, just snapped it together, getting an idea of if there's any modifications we're going to make, and then we're going to talk about paint scheme tonight, and yeah, we'll go from there. In the meantime, well, what else are we going to talk about? Metal Gear, the Metal Gear Rex is still in paint. Not a lot has gone on the last couple of weeks. Been real busy getting ready for weekend projects. It's going to be pretty much taking up the next 5 weeks of my time on the weekends, and probably some weekday time as well. So do what I can and get some, build when I can. And again, it's been super hot here. You guys are probably feeling it across the country. Heat wave going on. Some people are anyway. And let me get the comments here real quick. Nick is in. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Always seems to be the first one in. Good to have you as always. But anyway, yeah, I have just a lot's going on, and getting ready for these weekend projects that are coming up. This weekend is set up, and then the next 5 weeks are going to be dedicated to performances and stuff like that. So anyway, we'll do it again. I'm going to probably finish snapping the Core Fighter tonight, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll talk about paint scheme, maybe go through the paints here and see what we're going to use, what colors we're going to pick out, and maybe have to do some blending, but we'll see. In the meantime, let me start the show. Oh, yeah, that's how we start things off. Welcome in. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, July, 10 is it? Yeah, 10th. We're already 10 days into July. Imagine that. It's kind of crazy. So let me go down look here, and we'll zoom in a little bit. Meantime, we'll show what we got. So this is where we're at. We're just we got to do the rear here with all the thruster wells and thruster bells and everything going in there, and then the wings. And that pretty much takes care of that. There's a couple little weapons too that have to go on this, and I'm going to probably finish those up as well tonight. I finally figured out how this thing is supposed to fold up. I couldn't get the back fin fold down because this actually has to slide forward first to allow it to move. So that was my hang up last week. I couldn't figure it out after I flipped this over. I was like, why won't this fold down? Well, you have to slide this whole thing forward, and then it goes down. Like so, just like that. Push it back, it actually goes back up. So anyway, that being said, I'm not all the way back. There we go. So we're on step 25-ish. I did a little bit after last week's show. I got the rest of these little fins put in here. Put this cap piece on the back, and then hey, what's up, Angel? And then we're going to start doing the rest right now. So let me go down to close up here. You guys can see the booklet, kind of right in the middle here. We got to cut out some of these thruster wells, thruster bells, whatever you want to call them. Thruster well, because it is kind of a well that has thruster bells in it. So anyway, whoa, that was a ding, ding, ding. One of my hooks fell off the pegboard as I took that runner down and almost broke my glass. That was a glass of wine that almost went kaboom. That would have been a true disaster, right? All right, 35. Bing bong. Yeah, that was loud, wasn't it? That's how you start round one, I guess. Ringing the bell. So these are directional. I think that's just because of there's a slot in the back doesn't look like there's going to be any. If you mix these two up, I don't think it'll be an issue because they're both identical. Bing bong. Yeah, it's hot. Actually, today is a little bit milder. Yesterday was really bad. It was like I got home and it was 95 when I got home. So is the large thruster bell here. I haven't discussed lighting this either. I might have to, as we take it apart later on, after we're done with the assembly here, I'm going to have to start deconstructing it and then figure out how I'm going to light up that console. Because I do want to do that. It's a nice glass piece that could easily be backlit. So I just have to figure out where to run wiring, maybe put an internal power supply, or since this will be wheels down on the ground, you might be able to power it, through the base or something like that. So we'll figure that part out later. As for now, so now that finally all the fireworks festivities are pretty much in our rearview mirror, we're going to start sleeping full nights again without having to worry about being up all night. Explosions, everything else going off. Good evening, Julius. How you doing? Good to have you in as always. Thanks for stopping by. Last week we went a little long because of the holiday, and it was everybody was pretty much off work on that Thursday for the 4th of July, at least those in the U.S. And so I ran a little bit longer that night because I didn't have to worry about getting to bed on time or anything like that. But this show will be the usual run, about an hour and a half or so. Tyler's in. Tyler, what up, dude? How's school? Still down there in Portland. Must be bored if you're in your hotel room watching me. So anyway, let's just sand out these nubs here of this. Some pretty good gate locations on this kit too. So there's not a lot of tremendous amount of cleanup or anything like that. You're so bored. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to do unless you go into town. I mean, the hotels they keep us down there in Portland is kind of isolated, I guess, for lack of a better term. I mean, there's a really nice liquor store within walking distance, which is nice because you get to buy stuff there tax-free in Oregon. It's probably the one nice benefit of me or being down there in Portland. Just did a small McLaren Lego set to pass time. Oh, nice. So at least you brought something with you. That's cool. I'm yet to do that. Usually I always either forget to bring something like a hotel situation like that. I always tend to forget to bring stuff with me. I guess most of the classes that I've done down there have only been a couple of days. So typically I don't bring anything with me. But if it's doing longer than 2-day classes or something like that, it's probably a good idea to bring something with a mono kit snapped together. Why that thought never crossed my mind? Probably because I leave from work. Usually when I drive to Portland, I don't actually go home first because it's an hour and a half in the opposite direction. If I did actually go home first. So most of the time I've ever gone to classes, it's been on a Wednesday, leave on a Wednesday, and classes like a Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Portland. But I bought it at Rage across the street. Oh, really? Yeah, that's true. You only consume so much media, right? Too much screen time. I know. I love it how my phone now tells me, "Here's your weekly report of how long you were on your phone." I'm like, "Oh, great!" So looking at how many hours I was on Instagram, how many hours I was on Facebook. And in my defense, most of the time I spent on Instagram is watching George, watching his videos, or listening to them rather, on the way into work every day. But yeah, I can't imagine it can get a little boring down there with nobody else with you. All right, 2 more of these little ones to. Each one of these has a large structure bell and then 2 smaller ones inside. So I have to finish sanding all these little guys. That's where these sponges really come in handy because you can go around those curved surfaces really easily. Target, not Rage. That's funny. How did your phone figure autocorrect from Target to Rage? That's interesting. Here I was thinking there was some kind of a store down there that I didn't know about. That's funny. Okay, one more and then I'll polish them up with the 400 grit. I'm using the 240 mostly to knock down any nubs or anything, and then I go back over it with the 400, and this kind of just finishes it off. Oh, that shot at my fingertips. Almost lost it. Could go even higher grit, but 400 is fine. Won't be any scratches left behind once you hit it with primer. With 400. It's something really, really fine. I want to polish it. I'll go to 6, maybe even 800 at the most, but unless I'm polishing out a glass piece or something like that. They also open a drive-through dispensary in the same parking lot as the hotel. Oh, lovely. That's just perfect for those that buy in that. In the same parking lot as the hotel. That's awesome. Okay, so first things first, we got to pop in this large crystal bell here. Goes in like so. Then these little guys, I'm going to have to pick these up. Stuff them in with tweezers. There's 2 little smaller holes here on the side that these pump into. Like so. Maybe let's see if we can get the light. There we go. Just like that. I'll do the same on this side. Come on. Just trying to pick this last one up here. Ah. All right. Okay. Now, this first one goes in on this side. It's in there really flush. There's not a lot of tension on those pieces, so it fits in there nicely, but there's nothing really holding them in much. You could probably pop them out fairly easily. Remember all that difficulty I had last week with these little those hinges on those little missiles that were rolled into this door? One of them fell off in here. I had to fish it out, but I see now the need to glue those in. It's ridiculous trying to get those to stay. I mean, this side opens just fine. I guess like it's supposed to. But you can even see, like, see how there's 4 dashes across here, or 8, and then on the other side this one's missing one in the center. That's because that missile fell off. Now I fished it out. It's in a baggie sitting here because I'm not going to try to put it back in at this point. I'm going to have to disassemble everything and paint it anyway, so there's no reason to try to fish it back in there. All right, now we're on to the wings. And then we'll get to the landing gear and stuff like that too. I'm going to do wheels down on this. It's not going to be in flight. I don't know yet. I can't say never, or I won't do it in flight, but because I'd have to use an action base that kind of mounts to the bottom in this area here. There's a piece that comes with the kit that's made for an action base that fits into this front landing gear well. But right now I'm thinking of just doing it on the ground because I want to light up the cockpit and have the cockpit empty with a pilot standing outside, either Shayla or Muro, but probably the Shayla character, I think. I'll use this little gal right here. Should be holding the helmet in her right arm or right hand, but right now I'm not gluing it in place, so we're just going to leave that be. All right, let's grab the wings here. That's the last bit of the wings. C2 and 5. Okay, so I was wondering if there might be a way to light up the wing tips on these wings themselves, but I'm not sure I'll be able to because the light is molded into the kit. There's no glass piece that goes in it, so if I was to do that, I would have to somehow carve that out and try to replace it with a piece of glass. That also allowed me, would also mean I'd have to have enough room or enough space in between these two halves to install, wires and an LED. So I don't know. It's probably not going to be in the cards, but we'll see. There's a little bit of a mold line going down the center of this piece, so I'm going to have to sand that away very carefully. Same with this piece. Yeah, see, these are No, I got them mixed up. So that one's here. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, these go together. See, if I put this together, I don't think there's going to be enough room in between. I don't think this wing is thick enough to, because on the tip of this here, you can see right here. Let me get something to point at it. So right here in the front, this is where that light would be. Of course, like any aircraft, one side's green, one side's red. I can't remember what's port or starboard, but green is on the right. So I would have to cut this lens out if I was going to try to put some kind of surface mount LED in there. And then, of course, there's got to be enough room in between these two halves, and it doesn't look like there will be. So it may just have to be a painted light on there, but I guess we'll leave the jury out on that one and see if it's something we can do later, but I don't think so, just by looking at it right now. The 148 Valkyries, the Macross Valkyries, have just enough space to put wiring so like that. The 120 was super easy. Just by the sheer size of it, there's a lot of room inside most of the kit, but 148 is about as small as you can go and still be able to put lighting effectively, without too much difficulty in those wings. I don't think these are thick enough. They just don't look like it. All careful here because this has a different angle, so I'm going to use a smaller piece to take out that mold line. I have to switch up here. Let me go to take out this one. There we go. That's better. So, how's the weather, everybody? How's everybody doing? I know some of the people I'm talking to here, especially Nick, has been in Hurricane Central there in Texas. He's on here today, so far so good. You're live and well, it seems. But man, I saw some of the radar. Like the radar images you were sending the group, the AmFam group, and just looking at that satellite image of the hurricane right above your location is just unreal. There's also a panel line here. I want to make sure it's deep enough still. There's a couple of them. I'm going to grab 0.15 chisel. I'm just going to slightly deepen this line. The lines pretty much stayed there. I didn't sand too much into the sanding off that mold line, though. It took a little bit of that material, so I just want to make sure I got a decent enough. Hurricane is over and the heat is back. Lost a lot of fence. Yeah, I saw the photos of that too, where it moved significantly from its original position. It's kind of pushed the whole thing right out. That pushed the fence post, right? Just moved or sheared off the fence post and just slid the whole thing over, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the red is left. Red is left. What red is left is red. Right is green. Yeah, that you're correct. I'm looking at the box art, and it's right is green. You're right. But I don't remember. I was trying to say I don't remember what you had called port and starboard. I don't remember which is left and right. But as far as the colors, yeah, green goes on the right and red on the left. Interestingly enough, though, Macross has them as blue and red instead, and I don't know why that is. I know that traditionally all the aircrafts, nowadays are done where it's red and green, but for some reason Macross chose to do a different color. The same kind of panel lines here on the top of the wing, so I'm going to do this first before I sand this time, just to make sure there's enough of a groove. It's a lot easier to clean up a panel line before you sand it off. Then if you run the risk of your scribing tool jumping out of its groove if you don't have a deep enough panel line initially to hold that line while you're cleaning it up. Oh, I remember port is left because they also share the same number and letter. Oh, it's a good way to remember, I suppose. So port is left because they both are 4-letter words. All right. That's easy to remember. Thanks for that, Nick. Or was that Julius? No, that was Nick. No, that was Julius. Sorry. I didn't look up to see who commented. I apologize. Julius is the one. All right. I think we're good. Just gonna... All right. Now, let's see, did I sand all this stuff on? Yep. Okay, so these should come together These will go together, and I don't think they're really coming apart once they're together. I could separate them, but there's really no need. I mean, honestly, they're a solid piece. They cut them right where the panel lines are, so you can't even really tell which is the half. And that yeah, it makes it pretty nice. Okay, so this one is on this side. Now I gotta finish sanding these. Going slow here because I want to make sure I keep a nice crisp line. I don't want to roll over these edges and round them off. I want them nice and sharp. All right. Need to go a little bit. One more tab here. Okay. And the larger of the two pieces requires most of the cleanup. Actually, I could put these two together right now. I'm not going to be sanding anything anymore. So pop that together. All right. Let's get the top of this. Again, I want to clean up these panel lines first. Just a couple of rounds, not too deep. There's also that mold line down the middle of this, so this is going to also take out that mold line that's in the middle of that panel line as well. There's also two up here. Clean this up with a razor instead. All right, there we go. Won't be, I've got too many other have done projects. And I'm going to submit an entry to the USA Old is Gold contest. George Old School and Brian Brobuilder are the judges. Oh, no kidding. Is it a specific theme? What has it got to be, an older kit or something like that? This is the first I've heard. Actually, not the first I heard. I wasn't paying that close attention. I do remember I think George mentioned it, but I didn't in one of his live streams, but I didn't hear him elaborate on it, so I wasn't sure what it was about. If you got Brobuilder and George as the judges, that should be fun. Older kits from '96. Oh, geez. But it can be any subject matter at that point. It just has to be 96 and older. I might be able to. I might have some. Actually, I know I do. In fact, we can look in the backlog here and see what I've got in the way of an old kit that would qualify for that. In fact, I think the ones I do have that are old probably be a Macross kit. I don't think I've got any Gundams that are old enough to qualify for that. But I know I've got some old Macross kits. Oh, I know I've got some really old vintage ones actually, so I know I've got something there. And it has to be a humanoid mecha. Oh, okay. So it would, it'd have to be a Battleroid or something like that. Is that what you mean? If it was a Macross kit, it'd have to be in Battleroid mode, humanoid form. Then I'd have to bust out the really old Macross, the old vintage Revell kits. All right, I need to clip a couple more pieces here. So for this side, I need, no, this is not the side I need, that is this one. Yeah, okay, so we need number 6. Interesting contest. That one goes there. I'm doing both sides at the same time here, so just keep a track where I'm. How long was my camera off for? I look up for a second and I was like, what is going on? I'm flipping parts 1 second. Next thing you know, my camera's asleep. My next question is, when it's off, can you guys still hear the audio, or is it shut off both audio and video? My guess is you could still hear the audio. Less than a minute. Well, that's good. Yeah, that happened last week too. And like I said, there is voice commands for that camera, and it must be just the right combination of words or something being said to do that. It doesn't just arbitrarily go off. I'd have to say 2 words I know of in sequence, and the first one is sleep. Give it a second here. And the second one is tiny. So if I use those 2 words in conjunction, then that's when it should go off. But I don't know why it went off before that. It doesn't make any sense. "30 seconds or so. That's. Could you still hear the audio though? No audio or video, huh? Oh boy. Sorry about that, gentlemen and ladies, if there are any in the room. I try to keep a close eye on the screen, and I just happened to look down for a minute. Next thing you know, look up and the camera's off. It's kind of annoying. All right. Suppose that's enough for that. All right. So, first up, this goes here, and then you got to rotate it back. And then you need to pop it on like so. And then this goes on the bottom. All right, well, that folds up perfectly. So if this comes down, I guess it's supposed to sit somewhat horizontal. So that's that. We'll get the other side here. Let's set this where everybody can see. So now this goes here and rolls up. Yeah. All right. This goes down on here. And the other, oops, I didn't send out the nubs on this one yet. So humanoid. Oh, you know what? I know what I could use. I've got a couple of Mospita kits I could probably use for that. Uh-oh. Lost my wingtip here. Let's put that one piece on. All right. So that is the basic core fighter. This one's a little bit, actually they're both fairly loose. I would actually probably, because like I said, I'm not going to be folding this thing up. I would probably glue those in position. Because you can see how they kind of flop around as you, this side doesn't want to do it, but this one's a little bit looser. Yeah, that's it. Now we got a couple of missiles here and the landing gear, and then we're good. So let's take a break here. Let's talk about this contest, and we'll look at first of all, when does the contest start? If you have any links or whatever, if you can tell me, maybe send me an IM or something like that, and for information on the contest. But excuse me, I'm curious as to when it starts, what's the deadline. Let me check real quick in my backlog. I can see what I have that would work for that contest. Let's see here. Okay, hang in there, folks. I'll be right back. I'm just taking out a couple of old kits here. Bring these down. One more here. Okay. All right. All right. So, I'm talking about this contest called Old is Gold, right? And apparently you have to have an older kit, it has to be a humanoid form, and you said 1996, I think, right? Is that what you said? Was it, let's see. Where is it? Where did I see it? Oh yeah, 1996 and older. So, let me look at the dates on these, and then I'll reveal what I'm looking at here. If I can even find a date on this. But I imagine it is older than 1996. It's an old EMI kit. Gosh, I don't even know where the date is. 1/48 scale, which is pretty cool for this, and it's variable, which means it can transform. Oh gosh, I don't think there's a date on here. I might have to look at the instruction booklet, see if there's even a date on it. So let me back up to down look here. Oops, here we go. Oh, there we go. You sent me a link. Okay, cool. Thanks, Julius. I appreciate it. so let's look at the first of what I got, what I think would actually work. And because this is humanoid form, so it'd have to be obviously in fire mode. But here's the first one. It's an old EMI kit. I still don't see a date on it, unless, you know, even when it's usually written in Japanese, it has the numbers on it. But yeah, I just don't see a date on this anywhere. It's 1/48 scale. Gosh, I haven't opened this in years. Forgot what color it was. Okay, so it's like an off-white. Let's see if the booklet has a manual on this. Or I mean, has a date on it. Oh my gosh, this thing has metal landing gear parts and metal hinges. Yeah, it's definitely old school. They don't do that anymore. It's all done. Plastic decals look decent. I think they've got a little bit of yellowish tinge to them. I might have to let those sit in the sun. All right, let's see if this book has any indication on what the year is on it. This is old school, man. They got little you got the individual characters standing around, you know, showing off certain steps of the build. Wow. I built one of these before too, and I don't remember if it was an EMI kit. I did it in this color scheme too, the blue. Zach mentions a website to check the age of the kit. Also said you could message him and see if it would approve the kit. Oh, okay. So Zach, you talking about Zach Aurelius, or? I assume that's who you're talking about, because yeah, he's one of the main contacts for our USA Gundam store for sure. So I imagine that's who you're talking to. I think this is way older than '96 because this is probably '80s. Okay, that's the first one. I don't know which one I want to show you next because they're both equally cool. So this is also a variable type. The Mosquito Ride armor. Zachary, they said. That's what I thought. So, Mosquito Ride armor, and this is in what scale? 1/12. So it stands about 6 inches or so tall. Probably maybe a little bit taller than that, I imagine. Yeah, actually, I built one of these, gosh, years ago again, and I wish I hadn't given it to a friend of mine. I wish I'd kept it. It was one of those things I was moving, and I just said, here, you want my model kits? And I gave it to him. So again, this is also an old kit. Same type of instruction booklet, although this does come in different colored runners, which is kind of cool. Considering these decals look like they're really good. Oh, it even comes with a rubber tire. Look at that. Rubber tires. Rubber tires. The other one that I did build is the one I'm going to show next. But again, that was a long time ago. So this looks like most of the figure here, and then this is all most of the motorcycle, the bike. But yeah, there is absolutely no date code on any of this stuff. I'm just going to go use Google Translate on everything and check it out. Okay, lastly, the third one, Blow Spear. Blow Spearior, I guess. Spearior, I think that's what you call it. Anyway, same scale, but this was the only one I haven't been able to find is the female, the red variant, which I can't find in this old EMI because they make them in just the, this form here, but not the variable type. I was looking for all three to complete the set, but this is an EMI kit as well. Sweet. Yeah, I know. These are pretty rare. I'm glad I have. Oh, this one's even different. So this one has this suit in this slate gray color. The bike is also in that grayish blue with some white parts. There's even, oh wow, it even has metal shock absorbers. So man, they don't make them like this anymore. There's some springs in here. It looks like pistons, all done in that cast metal. I do remember this. This is the one I built years ago. And I all hand painted it. I do remember it was the first time I bought a rattle can of clear blue spray paint, and I sprayed this visor in that clear blue, and it came out so awesome. That was probably the best part of that whole thing was that it was that clear blue. You could see his face and everything through the visor. So I will check it out and see. I've been itching to build one of those, even though it's one of those things. It's like, gosh, it's a vintage kit. Do I want to leave it in the box? Do I want it, forever? No. I bought these things to build. Just like when I buy a bottle of wine, I buy it to drink, right? You're not going to let it sit in your library forever. I do have a few other kits that I want to show real quick that are probably even older than that. But let me grab this box off the top shelf here. I have this box labeled vintage kits because I don't want to stack them in my regular backlog because they're just so beat up. The boxes are in such poor shape that it's just, I got to keep them in here to kind of protect them. Shoot, let me gotta move the box around here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to stack this up so I can grab these easily enough. Okay. So I guess this could technically be humanoid form. Actually, yeah, I got a couple of them here. All right. These are old Revell kits. You remember these from the 80s. Robotic changers. This was the Orgus. They call it Nebo, but what's up? Leanne Kelly, how you doing? Good to have you. How you doing? Welcome in. So we're just talking about a USA Gundam Store contest that is either started or coming up, but it has to be an old. It's called Old is Gold, and it's got to be a vintage kit of some kind older than 1996. And so I was just pulling some old kits out of my backlog here. Kind of bad mic. I ain't lying. You mean my mic is bad? Let me see what mic is on. It should be my. Let me check real quick. What is my audio set for? Oh, yeah. No, that's the Osbot. No, that's not what I wanted. As my I want this one. Hang on a sec, guys. There. How's that? Is that better? Should have been that one, but I think I know what happened because I used my laptop the other day for a like a Zoom meeting, and so I didn't have this one connected. I had to make sure the other, use the regular studio mic off the laptop. So let me know if that's way better. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize it wasn't using my studio mic. So anyway, yeah, I could probably also use this one, of course, and leave it in this form. Now, this is also a variable type, so you can transform it into all three. But if you're talking about humanoid, it would have to stay here. Second one. I'm going to leave that there because I got to dig down into this box. Gosh, these are so beat up. Here's another one. This was called a Robotech Defender. I'm trying to get the glare there. All right, so they call this one Thorin. I think this is more of a, what were these called? I can't remember the series. It's not Mospita. It was Dogram, I think, or something like that. Dogram kit. It looks like an old Dogram kit. 8 people here. My God, what does that mean? What's up, Giovanni? Is it Giovanni? Yeah, Giovanni, how you doing? Just started working, listening to you live stream. Nice. Very cool. Welcome in. Nice to have you. So the last of these old vintage kits that I have here, another one of these Robotech changers. And this one is what would have been a VF-1D, the trainer. It's a two-seater cockpit with the square head. This was the VF-1D in the Macross world, but in this guy is called the Orbot. Yeah, I could use this too as well, I think, because these are definitely old enough. But man, I don't know if I want to try to build one of these. They're in sad shape, really sad shape. The boxes are just, this is why they're in another cardboard box, because they're just really poor shape. Crap, I gotta put these in another time. This one's falling apart. No. Wow. Let me put these back in nice and easy here. All right. You can even see this like on the side of this box. Check this out. Look at that, right there. It's even got another color variant of the 1S, the VF-1S. That's the one I actually owned when I was growing up in the 80s. I bought that kit at Kmart, I think, years ago. And that was when I used to do a lot of drawing. So I would actually build a model kit, and then I would pose it, and then I would draw the posed model kit. So I started doing that kind of Japanese animation. Is I actually just very carefully pose them. And so let me pop these back up on the shelf here real quick. We'll be back in 1 sec. All right, so I'll check into that and see if I can use any one of those kits, and then sub and like. Thanks, Leon. I appreciate that so much. Is that Lion, or how do you say your name? Is that Lion, Lane, or Lane? I'm sorry. God, my eyes are getting so bad. It's probably Lane, right? AIN? Yeah, it's got to be Lane. I apologize if I just butchered your name. It's just one of those things. So let's get back to the Core Fighter here. Got the wings on. Now we're gonna. I'm not gonna use the doors here for a closed landing gear. I'm gonna wait because pop all these on now. That's for the in-flight version, which is just closed up landing gear bays. But I'm going to be going this step here, so they're going to be open. So we'll get back. Well, actually, I can cut them out. At least we'll trim them off, stand them up, get them ready to pop in. But then we're going to do the landing gear. Yeah, let's go a little bit closer and get down to this view again. And we'll start cutting out the last of the runner here for landing gear. And put that one on the screen. Lane says, sub and like everybody. You just subbed. I appreciate that so much. Appreciate each and every one of you for all your support of this channel and what we do here. So, oh yeah, I almost forgot these guys. These go on the back. There's a little, it's almost like a tow hook. Might actually be what that is, but tiny little suckers. I can barely see the gate here. All right. One of the other things I wanted to talk about tonight was color scheme, because rather than the traditional red, white, and blue, which is what most of these core fighters are seen, I want to maybe do the low vis color scheme. I think I like that better. It's a more military look, more maybe Navy look to it. still have all of the same markings that you would have on this kit, but these pop in right in the back here. But it has that more of a gray and grayish blue color scheme. Let me get this last hook in here. And I'll flip open the booklet here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. On the back page of this, it has the markings listed, but it also has this color scheme. So I think I like this better. I might use a variation of this. I'm gonna try to match these colors exactly as close as possible, but it will be very close. In fact, I think, let's see, is it on the? I think it's on the box art too. Let me see here. No, not on that one. I know there's another drawing of it, which has more. Okay. Yeah, this is the traditional color scheme, obviously. But I think what I want to do, I thought it was more than just the back page, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought I remember seeing. No, I guess that's it. So yeah, so we'll be doing this color scheme. Again, same markings as the other version, just a more navy flight or flight color scheme, low vis color scheme. All right, let's get back to this here. All right, let's do some missiles. Actually, we'll do some landing gear bay doors now. GB, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you back. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Everything's going good. It's hot. It's hot as hell. Oh, I don't know where it is everywhere in the country, but it's pretty warm here right now. Fortunately, in Washington, it never lasts for very, very long. I think we usually get a week or maybe two at the most of really hot weather, but typically it tends to fade relatively quickly. So you get that week or two of misery, and then the rest is nice, mild temperatures. I think this weekend it's supposed to be mid-80s or something like that, which isn't too terribly bad. But for most people in Washington, they're used to the colder weather. Not like me, if you're from California, you think this isn't hot, You're in Australia. Nice and cold. That's right, because it's winter for you guys. You guys are other side of the hemisphere, huh? Southern hemisphere, right? So it's winter. Wow, I didn't know you were in Australia. That's cool. I would love to go visit there. I want to see Ryapla. I want to go check out Ryan. Check out his store. Meet him. Go to one of his parties because I know that guy's an animal. Ryan Pedro, I think. Is it Ryan Pedro? Ryan San Pedro? Ryan San Pedro or Pedro? I don't remember. I just know him as Ryan. Yes, it is. Yeah, it gets pretty chilly here in the winter too. I mean, we get that's one of the nice things about Washington State is it's 4 seasons, 4 full seasons. You get spring, summer, fall, and winter. Definitely. All right, so I'm keeping track of what side these go on here as I sand them down. I'm going to get rid of some seam lines here. Not seam lines, mold lines. And I lost or misplaced one of my, there it is. I was looking for my tiny sanding stick here that can get into small places. So where about in Australia? If you don't mind me asking. If you don't want to answer, no big deal. Like Sydney area or something like that, or I only know a couple of cities off the top of my head in Australia, but Brisbane, I think, is one. Melbourne, okay. Nice. If you also, anybody else that's interested in this room, check out GB Models. Check out his page on Instagram. Actually, you got your YouTube channel too. If you don't have Instagram or both, I subscribed last week to his YouTube. Really cool stuff on there. Definitely go check him out for sure. Did I get this little guy? Nope. So you use all the metric system down there. So you're talking about Celsius. About 10 Celsius, that's about, what about 40, 50 degrees Fahrenheit? I don't remember the conversion. Not that it matters. Cold is cold. So after the show, I'll check that link, Julius. I'll check that link you sent me for that contest, and then I'll also see about talking to Zach and see if he's got a. Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fold this up to make it easier to work on the bottom here. So this goes in like so. Then this goes down. This goes forward. Then the wing goes down. Okay, so now I've got everything folded. Now I can sit it here and work on these doors. All right, so first up. Actually, you know what? I was going to save these, but we'll see if I can put them on real quick. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Sorry, Victoria. Thank you for... Oh, sure, man. Totally. Victoria? You mean you're not in Melbourne, you're in Victoria? Or is that... Am I reading it correctly? Absolutely. I appreciate you, and that's what we do. We promote the hobby. We promote each other. You know, we got great builders, a lot of great people that do this, and spread love. You know, that's the way it should be. So first up, looks like this goes on. I think I'm just going to have to wait on these because if I'm going to put the landing gear in, we pop these in separate. As I close it up now, they're just going to fall off. There's a few pieces on this kit. I'm surprised that, you know, most of the Bandai kits you can snap together, but there's a few pieces that are just, that don't stay. Like there's even a little strip that's supposed to cover up these hinges here. You only take them out when you're going to open this. You take that little piece off, and it really just, it lays there. There's nothing to hold it in. So it kind of surprised me that they designed it that way with, you know, especially with the way most Bandai Gundam kits are, where they just don't, they usually, you know, when you snap a piece on, it's you can snap it on. It's not just going to sit there and fall off. Like I could put that little strip on there. It looks great. Flip it over and they fall off right on the ground. So I'll open this back up because we're getting ready to do some landing gear work here, I think. So let's take these. I want to set these aside.
It's still pretty warm here today. And it usually doesn't cool down until the evening hours, like deep into the evening. Fortunately, I have two air conditioning units here in the house. So one of them, I got a larger unit downstairs that keeps the downstairs nice and chill. And then, actually, I gotta do the missiles first. And then I've got one in my master bedroom. Oh, it's Melbourne, Victoria. Okay. Cool. Thanks for the clarification there. Yeah, I know nothing about Australia. As far as like I said, I can name a few cities, like the big cities, Sydney, a few like that. But as far as like geographically, where are they from one another? Couldn't tell you. I'd have to look at a map. All right, so I got the two little missile pod. These are little rails that the missiles sit on. One in each swing. So I'm going to pop these on real quick once I clean them up. Alright, let's see, I need this guy. Actually, no, I think I want this one. There we go. Oh, I was going to say, I thought there was 3 nubs. I cut it so close I couldn't see what the third one was. Didn't take much to clean that up. The gates on these were pretty small, so it came off. It cut off almost just flush. I mean, really hard to see. All right, let's clean this up. Brush. Okay. Now these go. I guess it doesn't matter if I put these on first. I think I'm going to just put that one in there and this one on this side. Keep my sanding marks to the inside, just in case there is any. So those are on there. Now let's build these little missiles. These missiles are actually in 3 pieces. 2 or 3 pieces. All right. Actually 4, looks like. So 26, 28, 24, and 25. Oh, wow. Talk about an unusual way to do gates. Now this has got to be the most absurd I've ever seen on this kit. Everything else seemed fine. They put these in between the V's, the V shapes of the fins. So man, quite a bit of cleanup for just 2 little missiles. I'm trying to carefully cut these out. Yeah, I just might as well do them all. have to very carefully cut these out because the gates are in between the fins, like a V, two on each side. All right, we're getting there. And we'll see how well these snap together. If they don't, I'll just glue them right now rather than let them fall apart. I have noticed that most of the pieces on this kit snap together quite nicely, but there's been a few that are just like, what are they thinking about? All right, that's all for that runner. So we got left. We got 2 runners left. We got a few more pieces for the landing gear. on the F runner, and then the wheels and stuff on the A runner. There's also a toe hook, a toe bracket for this as well, which would be nice if I do this wheels down, which I think I'm going to do. There's like a tow hook that you would tow aircraft around with, hooks up to the front landing, the nose gear, essentially. And the kit actually comes with one, so it's kind of nice to see. Now I see why they did these gates the way they wanted. They didn't want any mold lines on these missiles, so they did the gates on the fins and had them molded on the runner vertically, so there is no mold line on anything except right in the back of the fins. And that won't take much to clean up because I can just stick a small little stick and a sanding stick and just polish it out. In fact, I could almost use that line because it looks like where that mold line is, it actually looks like where the fin would be a different color, like in the back. I can almost use that as a reference line to paint the fins, like the back of the fins like red or something if you wanted to, versus just a white missile that looks a lot like a Sidewinder. I appreciate Lane for pointing out my microphone sucked because I didn't have the right audio set up. I just realized I used my laptop last week with a Zoom meeting and plugged all my other studio mics and stuff, so my computer just defaulted to my camera mic, and I guess it sounded like shit. I was unaware of that, so sorry about all that. We solved it here toward the end. Julia says, Jimmy Miles, I love Australia. Miss it a lot. Oh, so you've been there. That's nice. Back a few years. Want to go a walkabout? Want to go on walkies, huh? Go on walkabout? Yeah, they did a really good job with these missiles, I have to say. I was curious about why they did the gates the way they did, but now looking at it, I can see exactly why. There's literally no mold line around any of the the rounded surfaces on these, which is kind of impressive. There will be a little bit when you go in and plug this piece in, but there's like a little insert on the body of the missile. I'm not sure why they needed to do that. Maybe it was to reduce the aforementioned mold line. And the gates are going to be hidden inside the missile because of where the two halves come together. A little too much there for sanding. Just went digging through my backlog and found 3 of the Southern Cross kits. Nice. So are those the soldiers? When you say Southern Cross, is that like the, like, I can't remember the names of them, but they're like wearing their armor, just standing there. Most of those basically like a figure kit. Yeah, I might actually have one of those too, or at least I did a long time ago. I don't know. It's been so many years now. I don't think I do. I think I've looked at buying. There's a couple of places. There's a vendor that comes to a lot of events up here called Toy Arena. But I gotta say, for vintage, he's capitalizing on. This is just my opinion, please. Everybody's friends with the guy. No disrespect at all. You run your own business the way you want to, but I think, using the word vintage, like things should cost more because they're vintage, to me isn't always necessarily the case. You know, things cost what they cost, but some of the stuff I found him to sell is just outrageously priced. And that's probably why I haven't bought from him before. But he does have a lot of nice, you know, cool vintage kits. But some of the stuff you just go, how much is this? Oh my God. No, I don't need it that bad. You know, I don't need to build a kit from the early 80s that's going to have fit issues and everything like that and pay an exorbitant amount of money for. When I can buy a modern Hasegawa kit, that's going to be way better. Not to say I haven't bought some from him. I did buy stuff from him. I have in the past, but all right, almost done here. Just cleaning these fins up. All right, I think that's the last one. Yep. All right. So first off, this goes forward. Yeah, okay. Just enough together nicely. I would glue this and clean that up, but for now, I'm just going to press these together. I'll worry about the lines later. There you go. Pretty simple. There's a little bit of a seam line that'll have to be addressed where these two pieces come together. But other than that, it fits really well. I think I missed. I think I missed a nub on this one. Yes, I did. Didn't fit quite right, and I realized I missed a nub. There we go. Let's put this back together. Oh, got it backwards. That's better. It's a nice place to live. I just realized I didn't clean up any of these fins on the nose piece. Take a bag off. Keep popping out of my fingertips. We're almost there. Sorry guys, these are taking a little bit longer than a lot of the other pieces. Just based on the number of nibs I had to take off. Okay. Pull this one back off and clean these up. Yeah, I think that's a bucket list thing for me. I'd love to visit Australia. Along with Japan, I think I'd like to go there for obvious reasons. Also want to go back to Ireland. That was fun. All right. Got that. Okay. All right. Now these are supposed to go on just like that. Like that. All right, missiles on. Now we can get on to the landing gear. Let's see if we can finish this. I don't think so. I think these landing gears are going to take a lot of it. A lot of cleanup because it's going to be a mold line. Well, maybe not. Thought there might be a mold line right down the middle, but it looks like the nose gear anyway. There's also a small step for the pilot to get into the cockpit. It also goes up front. Thought we might actually finish this tonight, but we took a break because we were talking about vintage kits and showing off a few of those. So we might have to wait till the next broadcast. Speaking of that, there's a lot going on here in the household, especially for the next 5 weeks. So I'm going to do my best to have, that goes, oops. How that's supposed to go in? Oh, no, I just, I think I just screwed up. I don't have to fix that piece. I cut off there's a little square bit that's supposed to go into the bottom. I think I cut that off, or I sanded it off, one of the two. I've not done one of these kits before. It looks very interesting. Yeah. Oh, you mean the Core Fighter? Yeah, this has been kind of cool. As far as like a fairly simple build. There's been some things that have been a little bit strange. Like how this whole mechanism, when you slide the pilot or the cockpit back, this cockpit seat, the ejection seat rolls back. It's kind of cool. I wish there was some, 1/35th scale bust or something that you could actually put this in, because that would be nice. But a friend of mine, Dan, actually built one of these and did a great job. In fact, he did it I think he did his in a gray scheme as well, and just came out amazing. In fact, I think he won the GBWC qualifier that year when he entered this the Core Fighter. But he also did some modifications. I think he put like up here on the top, he cut out a section and actually installed a refueling port. And he did some other custom work to it too. If memory serves me, it was quite a few years ago, but just unreal. It's no wonder he won the qualifier that year. It was just amazing. So yeah, we're getting close to the wire here. I don't think we're going to be able to finish all of the landing gear today. Oh, these wheels keep rolling away on me. I guess that's what they're supposed to do, right? these out too. I'm not sure if he used resin wheels, like for those modern aircraft wheels. You can buy resin ones that look like have load bearing. They're kind of flat on one side because they're actually gives the illusion of being underweight, which is kind of cool. Rather than just having perfectly round wheels like these, it looks like they sag a little bit, like they're actually inflatable, inflated tires that are under load. It's kind of a nice effect. I guess you could probably sand the bottom of them a little bit to kind of give them a little bit of a flat spot, make them look like they're sagging a little bit, other than actually maybe buying some resin wheels online. I'm just wondering if finding a set of 1/35th scale wheels isn't exactly easy. I tried to find a 1/35th scale ejection seat just to maybe swap out the seat, but I kind of like the one that's in it, so I'm going to leave it alone. But I was just doing some searching around trying to find a resin ejection seat at 1/35th scale, and it's just not available. It's not out there. F5, it's F4. Okay, I'm going to finish this tomorrow or next week. Miss chocolate bullets, lollies, pasties, and chicken twisties. They all sound delicious, Julius. Whatever they are, I bet they were amazing. It's one of the coolest things about traveling around different countries and stuff. It's just like cuisine. I mean, I guess Ireland wasn't that impressive. There's only so much you can do with a potato. But the funny thing is discovering that Ireland loves their KFC, man. They love KFC. They have them all over the place. Oh, it was so funny to hear them talk about KFC. All right, folks. Let me switch up here. Actually, let's go down here. So this is where we're at. I know we were going to talk about color scheme. We did a little bit as far as what colors I'm going to go with. I don't know yet. I'm thinking if I quickly take a glance at the back here, I exclusively use Mr. Color colors. Number 72, which is it's a semi-gloss, but it's an intermediate blue, which is really nice. It's very close to this front canopy or the front cockpit section. So I might use a variation of that. There's also, just looking off the top of my head here, 115, which is looks like, I can't even read it. I'm going to put my glasses back on here. This is an RLM 65 light blue. So it's a German aircraft World War II color. Not exactly close to the lighter color, but it's a start. So I can kind of use these as reference, maybe try just a couple of different colors, come up with something maybe a little more gray rather than the blue. Might even do like I did with the F-14, have a bottom that is gray and fades, or white, like a lighter gray, and has that, and fades to a darker color up top. So, aircraft making it harder to see from below, that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll figure that all out. It's my favorite chocolate bullets. Chocolate bullets, huh? Do they look like bullets? Isn't that what they call them, chocolate bullets? I'm just curious. All right, guys. Anyway, thanks again, everyone, for joining in tonight. I appreciate each and every one that came in to check out the feed and see the progress report here. We talked about color schemes a little bit, and we showed off some vintage kits for maybe something I might enter in that Old is Gold contest from USA Gundam Store. So maybe more on that in a future episode. We'll see. This project, the Core Fighter here, was meant to be something to kind of supplement in between all the painting going on behind me. in the spray booth is all the Metal Gear Rex parts, but I haven't done any airbrushing all week. Just haven't had the time. Just like I said, trying to prepare for this weekends and getting ready for the next 5 weeks, 6 if you include this one. So it's going to be a busy time. So I'm going to try to do as much as model building as I can, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, for each and every one of you, again, be good humans. I appreciate you. Thanks again for all the support, and we'll see you on the flip. So let's do the outro. Take it easy, guys.